Good evening, Wanderers. A question for you. You guys ever play Tekken? I got addicted in high school and taught myself some key combos to gain an edge. Some players mocked me for learning air combos, but really, they were mocking themselves for refusing to grow. I liked learning those air combos, because in Tekken, your opponent is most vulnerable in the air. When you launch them, their only option is to wait for the combo to end. That's advice from an actual competitive expert, by the way. And so because of those players, I don't shy away from challenges when growing today. I bring this up because a new Wesker Bug just crawled out onto the block, crippling high tier plays, possibly deleting them entirely, maybe exaggerating. Why does that matter? Because if Dead by Daylight wants killer variety, it has to protect its technical monsters, Weskers, even twins. These killers live and die by their techs, their weird angles, their precision, their nonsense. Take that away, and you don't just nerf a killer, you erase the reason people learn them. There are all kinds of killer mains out there. Some need techs, some need skill expression, and some, like me, are just happy when terrible things happen. Some killer mains need technical mastery, something to pour hard work into, and I get that. For a twins main like me, that might mean line up a Victor snipe from the Thompson house second floor, only be stopped by a tree branch, or even learning to body block Shaq. Now, for Wesker Main, it's hugging walls, sweeping obstacles, and outmaneuvering looping survivors with precision. Survivors, you have techs too. They have grown and changed over the years. I don't just mean the CJ tech. No, I mean techs that actually matter. There was a time where flashlight saves required stricter timing, believe it or not. You know, too late and the killer turns away, too early and the blind triggers before the pickup, and then nothing happens. You had to be precise. Flashlight saves weren't just flashy, they were harder, but more skillful, and in Dead by Daylight should be celebrated as they were more rewarding, not stripped away or mocked. So to help demonstrate my point, I recorded a quick interview with a known Wesker Main, Saltnest, a really chill Wesker Main that you should be checking out. He's going to walk us through the new Wesker Bug and why it matters. It's a rough recording, you might hear some echo from my new apartment, maybe even my mom cooking in the background. But if you enjoy this kind of content, I'll definitely wrangle some more interviews for you, Wanderers, so be sure to let me know. We'll go ahead and get started. For those viewers who haven't met you yet, can you tell us about yourself and who you main? Or
DVD content creator who's been playing the game for about 7 years of my life. And I went through a few mains. I went from Michael, and I went to the Pig, and then I went to Deathslinger for a good while, and then I've been playing Wesker for about a year now, and I think he's just a very fun killer to play as, and ever since I started playing him, I just think his mobility and his kit is very, not only strong, but also very fun to play with and very satisfying to execute.
Nice.
Very specific grabs.
Oh, and how many hours have you put into Wesker and into DBD in general?
So on Wesker, I have just about like over 500 hours on Wesker, and DBD alone, I would say 7,000 plus.
Wow.
7,000 plus hours, yeah.
Nice. Okay. And then you recently put out a video on the Wesker changes this patch. And can you tell us exactly what did you notice? What went wrong with W-Man's kit?
So with Wesker in the new patch of 9.5.0, if you try to insta-flick with him in any sort of way, whether it's on console or PC, there is a buffer or input delay in between bounds, and it gives this very awkward and awful feeling while dashing. So it just feels like it stutters in between bounds. And before pre-patch, you would, hold down M1, or not hold down M1, but you would bam click M1 or bam the right trigger on controller, and it was instant. It was instant, and your hand would always be down, and you would not hand reset. But now, in the new patch, no matter what you do, you always hand reset.
Okay. Now this change seems really minor at first glance, so what made you go, wait a second, why is this a thing?
I actually don't really know. I've seen like the patch and like the update that came out, and there was a lot of fixes with Wesker, and I do agree that with Wesker, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. Like you know, the camera going all crazy when you get grabbed, and it doesn't, you know, go back to normal and stuff like that. Like very minor stuff like that. But I think when they were messing with Wesker's changes and whatnot, I think they made his mechanics or collision on very specific objects very finicky and strange, because you try and do like a normal hug tech or something like that, and it feels a little bit more difficult now, especially with the true Bluetooth. But if we're just talking about strictly power and like mechanics and stuff like that, his flicking feels very strange, for sure. Even one of the content creators that play Wesker, by the name of X Ghosty, made a video on his second channel, and he is quitting the killer for the time being until this gets fixed.
Damn. Okay. And then, if I may, now I can't speak for you personally because I'm not a Wesker main, but what I've noticed, if you don't mind me saying, I think how you first noticed this problem, it might have been the muscle memory, because I know when I play killer, and it's a killer I've been playing for a long time, if something doesn't add up with my muscle memory, then all of a sudden I go like, huh, like my whole feng shui feels off. It's really weird. But I feel like you have to be super, let's see what's the most appropriate term I could use, super like attentive to your gameplay to really notice and be bothered by any micro changes like that.
For sure, yeah. No, I would say it's definitely muscle memory, because whenever I try to go for a specific tech or, you know, dash into a flick, it's very noticeable. Now, to other people who don't main Wesker, it might seem like a very minor change, but to those people who've been playing for a long time, like myself, and other people that have been playing him for a while, everyone can say just about the same thing, and it feels very strange and unnatural. And whenever you go for like I said, like a tech, like on like a wall, try to slide across it, like let's say an insta hug or an insta Bluetooth or something like that, it just feels like the timing is a little bit more off, and also the flicking is very strange, especially because if you flick very hard on mouse and keyboard, you end up doing like this Michael Jackson looking like moonwalk dash, and it's just very weird.
Okay. It's hard for me to tell because, like, from my perspective, when I see Weskers do really high tech dashes, it looks all funky to me because I don't play the character that often. But like, I've seen Weskers dash forward, backward, left, right, up, down. It's so cool to watch. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm just coping, but is there no way a Wesker player can use this change to their advantage?
I've seen this term being thrown around in the Flickland server, or Wesker Mania. People call it Euro snapping, and basically what it is if you dash and flick very fast, basically let's say you're dashing forward and then you flick 180 degrees and dash again, while doing that Michael Jackson looking dash, if you are going in that direction, like in front of you, and while doing that 180, you will have zero collision if you're looking with a clear line of sight, and you will just start sliding onto objects. It's very hard to explain. I would have to show it in like a game or like an example, but Ghosty did this in like the end of his video, and it just made him like slide all over the place.
Wow.
But it's very inconsistent because, I mean, you're just dashing and flicking and just praying that you start sliding on objects and stuff like that. So honestly, this is more of like a nerf than a buff, in my opinion.
Right.
Because not only it throws off the mechanics, but also because it just, you know, it just ruins the text entirely, and a lot of his texts are kind of obsolete now, or just completely useless because of like what they did to him, especially because the flicking is like basically, you know, ruined.
Let's see. That leads me to my next question. Does this change weaken Wesker or only limit his skill ceiling potential? Does that make sense?
I think it hurt him pretty badly. I think it hurt him pretty badly. I wouldn't I don't want to say it was like a massive change, but I will say it's a very significant change. I think it made him worse. I think it messes with people's muscle memory, which is normal when somebody or like when the devs change a killer, then that's gonna happen. But I feel like with Wesker especially though, it just kind of like it just ruins his skill ceiling because removing like kind of like 90% of the text that he has and making him feel very like linear and stuff like that. I feel like it made him much worse. But I don't think that it was intended. I think they're going to fix this. I really hope so anyways, because there is a bug that's in the game right now where if you get grabbed, you don't get a speed boost at all from getting hit by Wesker's ability for some reason. So again, I really hope it is a change that was not intentional.
Right. Now, if this change stays, how could it impact more Wesker players in the future? Do you see a positive or a really bad negative trend going on?
I want to say a little bit of both. I feel like the community will figure out some sort of different things that you can do with Wesker that weren't possible before. But I also think it's a bad thing at the same time because the flicking, like, although it does feel weird, that one minor input delay can really throw off chases and make you do things that you probably didn't intend to do because of that, and also make you miss very so slightly because of the input delay.
Okay.
So
now I actually main twins, so I can understand when a beloved killer undergoes a strange or weird bug or tweak like 50 million times. Meanwhile, you're watching black players enjoy their 50th butt this month. So anything you'd like to share for players of other killers, whether niche or not, when they watch their main undergo a change just weird?
I would just say, like, try to adapt to any sort of change that goes live, because yes, it can be very frustrating, and yes, it can feel a little bit weird or finicky when a new change adds to a, one of your favorite killers. But if it does cause you that much, like, unenjoyment or any like negative emotions, like, maybe try out a different killer for once or something like that. But,
or even try Survivor for a little bit.
Yeah, just for like a little bit, because like then again, even though this is the live build right now with Wesker, I do think that over time they will see our complaints, especially because my video is blowing up right now. I think that it'll get noticed and hopefully they'll revert the changes. Now, I know some people don't have a platform like me, and I'm not saying I'm like super like known in the community, but I do have a voice and I'm willing to share it and help those that feel the same way as I do, because I know a lot of other people feel the exact same way that I do. So like I said, try to adapt and use different killers and stuff like that, but don't let it get to you, because not everything is final.
Right, in my experience, because I love twins, they're ride or die killer main for the twins, and this like whenever another crippling bug or feature hits the twins, like I just had to shrug it and move on, like, okay, just add it to the pile for now.
Right.
I can't even tell most of the bugs apart, to be totally honest with you. But
right, like it can be pretty frustrating.
Exactly.
Twins, oh, sorry to cut you off. Yeah,
no, go right.
Twins, with twins, like if you let's say you're playing Victor and you jump, and let's say you get on top of like a rock or whatever by accident or intentionally, the fact that Victor just dies immediately can be a little bit annoying. Because,
well, not immediately, but no, I hear what you're saying. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it can be a little frustrating because let's say if you did do it unintentionally, and let's say you were going for a chase, and let's say Charlotte's far away from the survivor that you're chasing, and Victor dies, you just lost a lot of time and lost a chase.
Oh,
so, yeah,
that's amazing. I love the way you word that. But the type of twins bugs I'm talking about are where you do try to jump on the rock intentionally, but you get stopped because there was a pixel of grass or leaf that was in the Victor's hitbox, and it caused him to short jump, and then a survivor nearby takes advantage of the opportunity and kicks him in the face.
And kicks it, yeah.
Yeah. No, I've lost so many pounces that I would rage because I feel like, no, wait, that's not my fault. That's the game. Come on.
Yeah. I feel like the devs, like, again, no hate to the devs. I just don't think, like, I really want them to just listen to the community more and, like, to the people's feedback, because a lot of games that don't listen to their community ends up dying because they don't listen to the feedback of their community. They play the game a lot. I play the game a lot. I love DBD. I don't want it to go down a direction that I don't want to see it in. So I just really hope they listen to the community so that we can enjoy the game and they can keep, reviving and helping out the game with people's frustrations and whatnot.
Now, I feel like they're getting better at that though, because the devs, it used to be a lot worse. I don't know if you remember, like, basically.
For sure, yeah.
In my humble opinion, the hockey analogy era, that arc, that was like peak. Okay, the devs are not listening, and even before I played, it was probably even worse than that. But in my experience, the hockey analogy was like peak. Okay, devs are not listening. We're promised a mythical twins rework that we won't see for another 2 years. So just like but I guess this is why I'm not like a super mega game developer, because I'm not the one making these decisions. Anyway, but thank you so much for this interview, and then to those listening, be sure to show our friend Isaac or Saltnest some love. Subscribe to his channel. Links in the description below. And then to See Nog viewers everywhere, again, if you like this type of content, let me know. This is like my first ever experiment with an interview. Be sure to like, subscribe, and then Salt, do you have any goodbye message?
I just want to say thank you for having me on here, and it was a pleasure to answer these questions. I love sharing my input on topics like this. I'm very open-minded to interact with people, so I really do appreciate this opportunity to do this. And thank y'all for watching this and choosing to watch this video. That means a lot.
You got it. I've had so much fun. All right then. Well, you guys take it easy, and remember to like and subscribe.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye.